In this video, we're going to have a look at two examples of how you can find the total surface area of prisms. So we'll have a look at an example of a rectangular prism. So that's just a prism with rectangles on both sides, and then a triangular prism. So a prism that has triangles on both ends. And when we talk about total surface area, what that means is, what is the area of every single face of this object added up? So for example, in this one, the front face, what's the area of that piece? The back face, what's the area of that piece? The one on the top, the sides, the bottom, and the other side, and we would find the area of each of those pieces and add them up. So this first example is a rectangular prism, and we know it's a rectangular prism because the two faces on either ends are identical and they're both rectangles, or in this case it appears to be a square, but one side's a little bit longer, and then every other face is a rectangle. That's what makes it a prism. So our first step is to draw a net of this particular shape. So I'll start with the base piece, and for this net I'm also going to add in the measurements as I'm given some. So the base piece is 10 centimeters on this side, and it's 5 centimeters on this side. I'm going to draw the side pieces now. So that's this one here. So I have one here, and then another identical side piece here. And the measurements that I'm given for these ones, well, I already know that one side is 5 centimeters, and I know this side here is 6 centimeters. This one will also be 6 centimeters, and that will also be 5 centimeters there. Okay, so now I have my side pieces to draw. So that would be this one at the front, and there's another matching one at the back. So the front piece just here. Now, because this length here and this length here meet together, they have to be the same length. They are both 6 centimeters. Likewise with this side here, 6 centimeters. Now, just so you can see, these two pieces that meet when they're folded up, they become this part here. Okay, so we also have the piece at the back, which is an identical piece, because in a prism, opposite faces are the same length, and we can borrow some of those measurements, 6 centimeters, 6 centimeters. Now, this piece here is 10, which makes this piece 10, and this piece 10. Likewise with this one here. Okay, now we can start to calculate the area of each face. Now I'm going to label these just so you can see which part of my working out is which. So I'm going to call these parts A, I'm going to call this part B, and these parts C. And actually I've forgotten a piece, the top piece, which goes here. This one is also a B piece because the top and the bottom have to be identical. There we go, that's better. Okay, so let's work out the A pieces first. So I've got two of those, and each piece is going to be 5 by 6. So that gives me 30. So that'll be 30 centimeters squared. Now let's have a look at piece B. So this is the top and the bottom piece. So these pieces are 10 by 5, which gives us 50. So that'll be 50 centimeters squared. Now let's have a look at the C pieces. So the C pieces are 10 centimeters by 6 centimeters, which will give us 60, or 60 centimeters squared. So now that I know the area of each different type of piece in my net, I can work out the total surface area. So the total surface area for this particular object, total surface area, is going to be A plus A, I've got two of those, plus B, as I have two of those, plus C. So I would have 30 plus 30 plus 50 plus 50 plus 60 plus 60. So at this point, you can get your calculator out, and that totals to 280. So the total surface area of this particular object is 280 centimeters squared. And we know it's a squared unit of measurement because we use that when we're talking about area. In this example, we're going to have a look at a triangular prism. Now, we know it's a prism because it is made up of rectangles on the sides, the bottom, and the other side. And we know it's a triangular prism because the faces on either end are triangles and they're both identical. So it's a prism because it has rectangles all the way around, and it's a triangular prism because the two opposite ends are both triangles. So the first task that we need to complete is to draw a net of this object. So the first piece that I'm going to draw is the base piece. So the base piece is going to be a rectangle, and I'm going to add in the dimensions of this particular piece, so 15 centimeters. So this piece here and this piece here match up. And then I'm going to label this one as 30 centimeters because this side length here and this side length here match up as well. Okay, next task can be the triangles on either end. Now, both of these triangles are exactly the same size, even if my drawings don't look that way. And I'm going to label these ones as well. So you'll notice that we are given the height of this particular triangle. So I'm going to label it in a similar way just to keep it consistent. And the height of that triangle is 20 centimeters. Now I can go ahead and do the side rectangle pieces. So I have one here and I have one here, and both of these will be identical. So we have 30 centimeters, 30, oh, that's not a 30 centimeters and 30 centimeters. And last, I need to label in this piece that I forgot to add in before, 21.36 centimeters, 21.36 centimeters. Okay, to make life easy for myself, I'm going to label each of the pieces. This will be piece A, this will be piece B, and that will be B as well, because they match. I know they match because this length here is going to meet up with this length, and they'll both be 21.36. Likewise with this one, 21.36 here. And I will call this piece C and this piece C because I know that the triangles on both ends have to be identical. So if I was to work out piece A, I know that piece A is 30 centimeters by 15, which gives us 450. So I only have one of those pieces. So now I can do piece B. So piece B, there's two of them. They are 30 centimeters by 21.36, which turns out to be 640.8 centimeters squared. And then lastly, we have pieces C, so the triangles on both sides. Now, if you recall, the formula for the area of a triangle is half base times height. So this one's going to be half. Now the base of this triangle is 15 centimeters. The height of this triangle is 20 centimeters, which gives us a total area of 150. So if I want to work out the total surface area of this particular triangular prism, now I need to add up all of the faces. So I have one A piece, I have two pieces labelled B, and I have two pieces labelled C. So that looks like 450, that's not 450, so 450 plus 640.8 plus 640.8 plus 150 plus 150, which gives us a grand total of 2,031.6. So the total surface area of this particular prism is 31, it should be, 0.6 centimetres squared. We know it's centimetres because all of the measurements that we've been given are in centimetres, and we know it's a squared measurement because we're talking about the area of a flat object.